me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine.
This episode of Greenlight Maine is sponsored by WEX, the intersection of payments, data, and technology.
Good morning and welcome to Greenlight Maine. I'm your host, Julene Gervais, and this is season 4. We have an outstanding field of companies vying for the $100,000 grand prize. You are about to meet 2 of them, but only one will advance to the next round. If you're just tuning in for the first time, Greenlight Maine is Emmy nominated and the only show of its kind in New England, showcasing companies looking to expand. We are going to meet our contestants in just a minute, but first I'd like to introduce you to today's judges. Welcome, Jay Dearborn.
Hi, Julene. I'm Jay Dearborn. I'm president of WEX Corporate Payments, and at WEX, we couldn't be more excited to be here supporting entrepreneurship and innovation in the state of Maine.
And we couldn't be more excited to have you. And welcome back, Nancy Marshall.
Thanks, Julene. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm known as the PR Maven, and I'm CEO of Marshall Communications, and I'm a big supporter of entrepreneurship in Maine.
Yes, you are. And finally, welcome Tobias Parkhurst.
Thank you. I am president of O&P Glass and also a co-founder at Cushnoc Brewing Company. Very pleased to be here.
Thank you all. And we're going to talk to you in just a few minutes. But first, I would like to introduce the first pitch of the day. Welcome, Sasha Derry from BluShift Aerospace. And I was reading a great article about you in the Bangor Daily.
Yeah, it was great to have them actually interview us. It was early on in our testing, and we're hoping we can get them to come back again now that our tests are far safer and see some of these rocket engines in action.
I bet they will. We're so happy to have you on Greenlight Maine. Whenever you're ready, go for it.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Sasha Derry, CEO and founder of BluShift Aerospace. I'm also the CEO and co-founder of Alti, a successful 20-year-old renewable energy company. Accessing the vastness of space is one of the true marvels of human achievement. However, from the Apollo missions landing the rockets on the moon to SpaceX landing the rockets back on Earth, these gigantic rockets have been expensive and ultimately required petroleum to derive their fuel. BluShift is about to change all that. At BluShift Aerospace, we're developing a rocket which will launch up to 30 tiny satellites into low Earth orbit at once. Our next steps are to launch a scaled-down version of our larger rocket, the Red Dwarf 50. According to a 2018 market report from Frost & Sullivan, the emerging market for launching these small satellites into space is expected to be $62 billion by the year 2030. We're hoping to bring a piece of that here to Maine. Since 2014, my 5 colleagues and I have invested over $250,000 of our own resources into the development of this rocket technology. And thanks to a 2014 grant from the Maine Technology Institute, we were able to actually optimize our trade-secreted biofuel formula, rocket fuel formula, over the course of 130 rocket engine tests. These tests were performed at the former Brunswick Naval Air Station. The reason for optimizing this is that the more optimal we can improve the performance of the rocket, the smaller we can make the rocket itself and the lower the cost will be. To further reduce costs of sales, marketing, and launch logistics, we'll also use a satellite launch broker. These satellite launch brokers bring together small satellite customers from around the globe and will work directly with us at BluShift. BluShift's team has a wide variety of experiences ranging from aerospace engineering, decades of business management, computer science, advanced machining, manufacturing, and electrical engineering. At BluShift Aerospace, we're innovating the small satellite race to space with a simpler, lower cost, more environmentally friendly rocket launch service. With $100,000 from Greenlight Maine combined with crowdsourced funding and our own team members' funds, we'll be able to launch our scaled-down version of our rocket. And then we'll be able to turn to NASA and angel investors to build and launch our larger rocket and begin launch services to these customers. The future of space exploration will carry the words, "Made in Maine."
First question, Jay.
Thank you, Sasha. You mentioned $62 billion by 2030, which is only about a dozen years off. Who are the competitors in this space?
Sure. So the competitors are usually thought of as SpaceX, but they're not actually in this small niche realm of launching these satellites. It's typically companies, small companies like our own. Probably the most prominent one is based out of New Zealand, called Rocket Labs. But there are several other startups throughout the United States that are more or less in the same stage as we are, maybe further ahead, that over the next 3 to 5 years will be able to launch their rockets.
Nancy.
Who is your ultimate buyer or customer, Sasha?
Sure. Our ultimate customers range anywhere from the academic, with students trying to, even high school students looking to launch their inexpensive satellites into space and do science projects, all the way up to private companies looking to map the Earth, companies looking to do communications, and even companies looking to provide communications for the Internet of Things across the globe.
Tobias.
What makes your rocket unique? Is it the size or the fuel source? And with the way that you're going to consumer, will your customers know that?
Sure. Probably the first thing the customers will see is the price tag, which we hope will be lower than, which we plan will be lower than our competition. But it is the blending of the fuel, which is less expensive than normal rocket fuel, RP1. It's the design of the rocket itself. It's the hybrid technology, which reduces the complexities and cost for constructing that rocket.
And this is groundbreaking for the state of Maine. The first time ever a rocket will be launched off the coast.
We hope someday we can launch it off the coast of Maine. In fact, that's our end goal. Initially, we'll have to launch it from what are called spaceports, like Wallops in Virginia, NASA Wallops. But we hope that we can launch it off the coast of Maine. We believe Maine is strategically located to do what are called polar launches, polar orbit launches. And this actually can be a real advantage for our state versus the rest of the East Coast, which is facing east, not due south.
All right, very interesting, great job. I can see creating jobs in Maine off this one, so perfect. Great job by our judges, some really good questions. We have to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're talking to one of the powerhouses of Maine, WEX, so don't go away.
Greenlight Maine would like to thank the Maine Department of Economic and Community Development, the Maine DECD, helping businesses and communities prosper.
Sometimes, even when you widen your view of things, it's hard to see everything that's happening behind the scenes. It's our feeling you're not always supposed to. Because when we do our part, the only thing we want you thinking about is doing yours. We're WEX, the people behind the payments, powering the possibilities.
WEX is a proud sponsor of Greenlight Maine.
Reaching new customers online is hard. You've tried Facebook, Google Ads, email. You even built a website 10 years ago. You're way too busy to focus on digital marketing, and you're not getting results.
At Dream Local Digital, that's what we do. We've helped businesses nationwide grow with online marketing. We're the experts. Let us help you.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. Our Sunday morning conversation is with one of the state's largest employers, WEX, and we have Jay here to talk all about WEX for our viewers at home who might not know much about it.
Yeah, so at WEX we compete globally in 3 different segments. We have a segment focused on the fleet card market where we help drivers fuel their vehicles. We have a segment focused on the U.S. healthcare market and consumer-driven healthcare in the United States. And then the segment that I lead is WEX Corporate Payments based right here in Portland, Maine.
Perfect. And we are all watching and awaiting the opening of your new building in downtown Portland.
Yeah, we're very excited. So we have 3,300 employees around the world. 1,000 of them are based right here in Maine. In a testament to our commitment to Maine, we're building a new headquarters in the Old Port. We expect it to open in Q1 next year with about 450, 500 employees in it.
Excellent. We look forward to that. And now we're going to watch a video all about WEX, so have a look.
There's so much that's new at WEX. You know, that's one of the things I love about the company. It changes all the time. But I'd say the biggest thing is we hit the $1 billion revenue mark last year, which, you know, the company grows every year, but it's exciting to have a real defined milestone like that. It was a combination of organic growth and acquisitions that led us to that point. And we've continued to add people, you know, across the world with really great talent, including people here in Maine. We have a lot of things going on in the company, and you know, the company is really focused on technology, and that's been true in our history, but even more so now. We live in a world where change is happening faster and faster, and so really gearing the company to make sure even though we get bigger, that we do move faster as well, and being really cognizant of some external trends like autonomous vehicles, like the shift to millennials and travelers with our online travel programs, and also with consumerism that's happening within healthcare. So as we're moving more and more to people having HSA accounts, that's a trend that we benefit from. But in the backdrop of all of that, what we're doing is making sure our products and our technology is geared towards some of these long-range changes that are happening. Giving back is something that's core to who we are. It's something that is part of the culture of the company. And we also really encourage our employees to participate within the community that they live in. One of our VPs in technology, Ryan Taylor, got involved with the Boys and Girls Club, and he developed a program that allowed kids to learn how to code in a very simple way. It's called Codex. And I love it because we care a lot about developing STEM talent, so we care a lot about people who have science and technology and engineering, mathematics backgrounds, because that's core of a lot of the hiring that we're doing. So I think it's really great. And I think of the things in seeds. We planted a really great seed that we can build upon over time. WEX was certified as a great place to work. I start with that, that's so exciting. It happened the first year we did the survey, which is actually a really big deal. What I really wanted was an independent assessment that was based on our employee feedback around the world of how they viewed the culture of WEX. And the fact that we made the list in the first year, that's just incredible. And it's a huge testament to the leadership team that works across the world at WEX. And I think the other thing for me is it creates this ongoing dialogue. So through the use of this survey, we get a sense of places that we can continue to improve upon, places that we want to make sure that we do not change, and anything that we continue to emphasize. And so we can continue to grow and build upon the culture, which has really been a real strength for us. A lot of that has to do with our Maine roots. It's the fact that we were started and originated in Maine. I think that's amazing to me as we do acquisitions, as we grow globally, how you can create that same sense of community in each of our offices.
For almost 25 years, Maine Biz has been providing business news, information, and analysis for business owners and C-level executives in Maine. From Fort Kent to Kittery, Maine Biz serves the decision makers of Maine across multiple channels, including its flagship print digital publication, website, events, daily report, real estate insider, and weekly newsletter. Let Maine Biz help your business succeed. Inform, engage, connect.
At Bangor Savings Bank, we know the value of making genuine connections with our customers, providing a memorable experience with every interaction. We are committed to doing the right thing and working as a partner with the people and communities we serve. With convenient mobile and online banking technology, we offer more ways for you to reach out to us. Because at Bangor Savings Bank, you matter more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. Our second pitch is 7 Umbrellas. I'm here with Michael Brooks. I'm really curious about your name.
Yeah, so the humorous response is, it's a line from a 2 Chainz song. I'm gonna make so much money, I need 7 umbrellas to stay dry. But in actuality, in the canna industry, to go from seed to sale, there are 7 aspects, and our company tries to cover each one of those aspects.
How fitting.
Yes.
Well, welcome to Greenlight Maine. We're so happy to have you. And whenever you're ready, just look right at the judges and have fun.
Well, so my name is Michael Brooks. I am a co-founder and CEO of 7 Umbrellas. And what we are doing is leveraging the newly legal canna industry to create technology and elevate the tech sector needed here in Maine. So we have a first product currently in the marketplace. It's called MJ Ally. It's a smartphone app, so available to download through Google Play and iTunes. And it allows the documentation of products within the cannabis industry. So cultivator to a retail store, to a lab, to a testing facility, we can document it. It's basically a hall pass saying, I'm taking this is where I'm going, this is what time I'm going to get there. The larger component that we're still building is actual seed to sale software. So that goes from inception point, the seed, to the retail, the endpoint, the customer. And not only is it designed to make greater efficiencies within the industry, it also makes you compliant with what the state wants you to inventory and track, which is required by law. So we're enabling people in the industry to maximize their output while minimizing their inefficiencies, all while maintaining compliance with the regulatory aspect of the industry.
Excellent. Yeah. Perfect. So this is something that's very needed and is very timely in this industry.
Absolutely. It's something that we've actually done quite a bit of discovery. We've been looking at and researching for approximately 2.5 years. We started development a little over a year ago, and we really feel that Maine, being an East Coast state, as this industry continues to emerge, it gives us a prime foothold, a prime home base to really develop, beta test, get into the market, and then ultimately go national, international from there.
Jay, first question.
So you mentioned 7 steps to the supply chain.
Yes.
And in my head, I think about the coordination. You need to have all of those steps using your software. How do you get to those customers?
So absolutely. So that's kind of where our first mobile application comes into play. It enables us to offer a very affordable solution that's needed that allows us to interact with our current and future customers. So our competition doesn't have a simple solution app, so they are currently not interacting with the participants here in Maine. So basically, we more or less have a proof of concept / revenue stream / sales funnel with the app that's going to allow us to continue to build those relationships and make the software needed for ultimately our end users.
Nancy.
What are you doing for your banking relationships? Because there's an issue there.
Yep, so actually there's 2 banks in Maine that accept Canada industry money. There's 13 in total that are allowed to. Those are state credit unions that do not operate in other states, so they're only headquartered here in Maine. They're actually allowed to accept that money. It's done through the IRS. FinCEN has guidelines for that. So currently there's 2, and I imagine as the industry picks up steam, these other 13 banks will eventually come on board to normalize the industry.
I have 2 questions.
Yes,
One
sir.
is, what are the challenges that you're facing because of the federal law versus the state law? And second, are there lessons learned from other markets that maybe are a little bit ahead of Maine in the legalization process, and what are those?
Yes, absolutely. So, this is my first experience as an entrepreneur where I had to really actively participate in government. So while Maine, on a state level, municipality level, has been trying to regulate the industry, it's the first time we've actually really been able to participate and kind of see how that process works. Huge learning curve regarding that. And the other part of your question, fortunately for us, the West Coast has started this industry several years in advance, Colorado being the first 5 years ago. We now have California, Nevada. So we absolutely look at those guys, look at what successes they are currently having, what failures they've done, what mistakes they've made. And not only as a company are we learning from that, but we're also taking that information and trying to share that with our legislature so they don't make the same mistakes that have happened previously in states like Oregon and Washington.
Great. Some really interesting information. This is like first of its kind, so happy to have you on the show. Great questions by our judges. Yes, a lot of information. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to hear what our judges have to say, so don't go away.
Furniture for Greenlight Maine is provided by Thomas Mosier Furniture, handmade American furniture since 1972.
Forevermark Diamonds. Beautiful, rare, responsibly sourced. Available at all Days Jewelers locations in Maine and New Hampshire.
In 1972, Tom Moser committed his life's work to craft, and 4 decades later employs 70 fine craftsmen and women in our shop in Auburn, Maine. With showrooms and customers from coast to coast and numerous awards and accolades, Tom has firmly established himself as an entrepreneurial tour de force and has proven that a life doing what you love is indeed possible.
This year's winner of Greenlight Maine will win this handmade Thomas Mosier beacon box and $100,000.
Reaching new customers online is hard. You've tried Facebook, Google Ads, email. You even built a website 10 years ago. You're way too busy to focus on digital marketing, and you're not getting results.
At Dream Local Digital, that's what we do. We've helped businesses nationwide grow with online marketing. We're the experts. Let us help you.
Broadcast facilities are provided by Husson University's NESCOM, the New England School of Communications.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. This is the part of the show where we get to hear from our judges and what they think of these companies. Two great pitches today. Let's kick this off with BluShift Aerospace, only because Sasha pitched first. What do you think, Tobias?
You know, I think we hear a lot in the media about Maine not being business friendly. And what I liked about this company is that they are going to compete nationally and also internationally. But I also found it interesting that they feel like they have an economic advantage by being in Maine. And I think anytime we see something like that, it's worth a good look, right?
Absolutely. And I really liked how we learned in the break that he said that he was in Massachusetts and Maine was very easy to work with, and he moved his business to Brunswick Landing.
Yeah, I think that's if anything worth taking that proposition, which, you know, rocket ships might seem a little bit out there, but it's worth taking it pretty seriously. We have a future in front of us. We can make whatever we want. I think it's important to take a look at these outlying ideas, and if they're sustainable, that could make a big impact on the economy of our state.
Absolutely.
If I could just piggyback on that, that means the competitive set, though, is national, if not international. And I think, you know, he's in a race against time. If you think, you know, in 12 years, that's a mature industry, and there are lots of other well-funded startups, you know, they have to get real serious about raising quite a bit of money and focusing on where they're going to put their flagpole.
And to be fair, he did mention that there were some other startups that had started ahead of time and might have been have a little bit of a competitive advantage. So that is something to take into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel they have a strong management team, and they've got strong backing from Maine Technology Institute and from the people at Brunswick Landing. So that's really good to hear.
Absolutely.
At the same time, if you think about what the product is that they're trying to sell fuel, they're trying to sell the rocket itself, they're trying to sell the launch pad, the launch services. I think it would probably benefit from focusing on what really is the competitive differentiation for them.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's switch gears now to 7 Umbrellas. What do you think, Jay?
So I think, you know, my immediate response is, you know, what they're trying to do is solve a real problem for that industry. And, you know, so there is a need there. It's very difficult, though, to act as centralized infrastructure in a very fragmented ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely fulfilling a need, but a lot of moving parts. 7 components.
7 components, and then think about each one of those 7 steps has many different players, and then, so how do you reach those players? And then the question is, how do you have enough knowledge about each of those 7 steps so that you're building the product the right way so that it serves everyone?
I'm concerned about their ability to go national since cannabis is not legalized everywhere in the United States. And he hopes to go international too, and it's not worldwide legalized either. So I think there are going to be a lot of roadblocks.
There were a couple of things that I had a little bit of concern on. One is Maine's not at the forefront of legalization, which means these are challenges other folks in other places like Silicon Valley, for example, are already dealing with. We're also dealing with a regulated industry, but it's not the only regulated industry. So I wonder if there's not other platforms that already have this technology that wouldn't be quicker to market. And I wish I'd had a little more of an opportunity to hear the answers to those questions, but overall it seems like there's a need, and okay. It's going to be important that somebody fills it.
Yeah, I mean, if he were to make it to the finals, that would probably be something we'd like to hear about. What are they doing in states like California and Colorado and all out west, where this is really, they've been in it for years now. And then Maine is just getting involved.
Yeah.
So we get time for I know time is running out. We get time for our final thoughts, so we'll just start with you, Jay.
My final thoughts between the two companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think both have, there's needs that both are solving, and we're kind of at the infancy of how do we solve both of those needs. Both have a lot of merit, and I could see both being very successful one day.
Nice.
I feel that both are going to be very complex undertakings. They're going to need sophisticated, educated workforce in different ways. I hope that they are both successful, however.
Absolutely. We wish them both well, no matter who wins. You guys have a tough decision today. And Tobias.
So only one of these guys gets to win today. But I think that Maine gets to win no matter what. I think it's really cool. Two companies with dynamic leadership, both out-of-staters relocating or looking to relocate to our state. I think the big picture is we win all around. And I think regardless of how it comes out today, they both stand a pretty good chance of being successful in their own right.
Nice. Well, great job to all of you. We are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, find out who gets the green light. Don't go away.
To find more resources on how to start and grow your business, visit greenlightmaine.com.
We're very proud of the product we make and the way that we make it. The most important features of our original dog vest are in its design. Traditional lenders, they steer away from unproven track records.
In you come. Hold up.
CEI gave us the opportunity to build a track record, show that our future path will be more solid than our past.
Sometimes, even when you widen your view of things, it's hard to see everything that's happening behind the scenes. It's our feeling you're not always supposed to. Because when we do our part, the only thing we want you thinking about is doing yours. We're WEX, the people behind the payments, powering the possibilities.
WEX is a proud sponsor of Greenlight Maine. For more information about the presenters and panelists on all the Greenlight Maine shows, visit greenlightmaine.com.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. We heard two excellent pitches today from tech companies. Our judges have a tough decision to make, but only one can move on. Who's it going to be? Today's winner is BluShift Aerospace. Congratulations to Sasha. He is moving on in the competition. That's all the time we have for today. We appreciate your feedback, so check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to learn more about our resources, the contestants, or if someone you know has any interest in starting a business, visit us at greenlightmaine.com. We'll see you right back here next week after Meet the Press. Have a fantastic Sunday. Congratulations. Great job.
Greenlight Maine has been brought to you by WEX, the intersection of payments, data, and technology. Greenlight Maine would not be possible without the support of all of our corporate sponsors. Thank you.
Greenlight Maine has been a paid-for presentation by the Portland Media Group.